Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build a very simple, cheap, fully AFK and fully automatic witch farm in your Bedrock Edition worlds. This witch farm uses looting 3 to get you the maximum amount of drops possible from the farm, and as a side effect of that you also get some experience as well, which is pretty cool. The farm itself is pretty much the simplest mob farm I think I've put on the entire channel, and the most complicated bit about this entire tutorial is going to be doing the actual spawn proofing around your farm, which makes it as efficient as possible by preventing all of the other spawns in the area. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this tutorial and enjoy using this witch farm in your guys' worlds. So even when using looting 3 with a witch farm on the Bedrock Edition, the rates are not going to be the greatest, but considering how extremely nerfed the witch huts are on Bedrock Edition, we're honestly lucky to get any drops at all, and that's also coupled with the extremely terrible mob spawning and despawning algorithm that we have on this platform. So all of that taken into consideration, the rates of this farm in this tutorial are going to be around about 1,000 drops per hour. Again, it's not great, but it's about what we have to work with, and hopefully someday witch huts will actually be improved, because right now there's literally only one spot in the entire witch hut that witches can spawn on, and that really is a giant nerf. So this before you here is actually the entirety of the farm, and if we go ahead and just take a peek inside of the actual witch hut itself, you'll see that we have the actual spawning spot. This is the only spot in the entire witch hut that the witches will spawn on. As soon as they spawn, they're going to fall down this hole right here, and that's going to transport them into our kill chamber. That's also the maximum distance that they can fall while still being alive, and as you can see, we actually have a fair amount of witches in here, not too shabby. We also have ourselves a Trident killer in here as well, which when we are holding a looting 3 sword, all you need to do is hold the sword. That will apply the looting 3 effect to the witches, and we'll also be able to pick up the experience from all the witches through the actual glass right here. All you need to do is stand against the glass, and then you'll pick up the experience and mend your tools or your armor, or just have it go to your XP bar. It's honestly pretty simple, it works, it's very reliable. So if you're curious about how this Trident killer works, or if you have any questions at all about this Trident killer, I'll have a link to my Trident killer tutorial down in the description and in the iCards as well. I did a full in-depth tutorial on how exactly these things work, but to give you the short and simple of it, this thing is basically thrown by you, the player that wants to use the farm. The Tridents, basically kill the witches, deal damage to them, they apply the looting effect, and the Tridents don't need to be enchanted or anything like that. They also never take any damage. Overall, Trident killers are amazing, and you should definitely watch that tutorial regardless. So if you're curious what 1,000 drops per hour looks like, this is about what you'll get from your witch farm every hour. Again, it's not the greatest, but it is about what we have to work with on the Bedrock Edition, so it's not too bad. This is about 2 hours worth of loot right here. As you can see, a fair amount of gunpowder, which is useful for rockets, some redstone that you can use in various projects, and all of the other potion ingredients that you could ever need. So getting into the tutorial, there's going to be a full materials list for this farm down in the description of the video. That list is going to have all of the materials that you need to build this farm itself, and also all the materials that you'll need to actually spawn proof the area around the farm too. There's also going to be a world download in the description of the video as well, although honestly there's not really much to do in this download. It just kind of exists for any of you who want to check it out. So there are going to be 2 parts to this tutorial. The first one is going to be on the actual farm itself. That won't take very long, and then the second part is going to be on the spawn proofing that you need to do around your farm. We're going to build the farm first, that way while you're actually doing the spawn proofing, this thing can be running and getting you more drops. Alright, so let's get things started with a blank witch hut just out in the middle of anywhere that you like. Really, any witch hut in the entire world will work. Pretty much all of them you'll have to do the same amount of work anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The first thing that we need to do for our witch hut is to find the actual spawn spot. So there's, again, only one spot in the entire witch hut that the witches can spawn, and to find this thing, you'll want to go ahead and break down these walls, and you'll also want this to be nighttime as well. So in general, the witch hut, spawning spot's going to be somewhere in the middle of the room, but it could probably be on these walls as well. You just want to give yourselves options. Anyway, get yourself some glass panes, and then you want to just put these going across the room at head height. And how mobs spawn on the Bedrock Edition is they basically spawn in between blocks. So that means that your witches are actually going to spawn like in between the little squares of your glass panes, kind of just like this, and that's going to trap them and allow us to actually find the spawning space. So what you now need to do is go ahead and kill any other mobs in the area, free up the mob cap a little bit, and then you also need to go 30 plus or so blocks away from the actual witch hut. That way you can have some witches spawn in there. And there we go, we got ourselves quite a few witches in there. Now it may take a while for your witches to spawn, especially if you're not in a new world or in a new area. If you've already been exploring this area quite a bit, then likely it's going to be a pretty slow process for them to spawn in there. But be patient, maybe set the difficulty to peaceful to get rid of all the other hostile mobs and allow these guys to spawn, and then switch it back to hard mode or whatever. Just give it some time, it can take a minute. Anyway, now that we have that in place, we can actually go ahead and remove the rest of these glass panes that we don't need, because right now they're just kind of in the way. And you also want to grab yourself a locator map. It has to be a locator map, that way you can actually see your little icon. And what you want to do is you want to break the block to the southeast of these guys. So in this case, that's going to be this block right here. Dang it, that block right there, because that is the actual spawn spot of the witches. So technically the witches spawn on the northwest corner, again in between your glass panes, and that's why you want to go to the southeast corner and actually mark that block. Again, this is going to be the only spot in your witch hut where they actually spawn. And in case you weren't aware, the top of the locator map is always going to be north, so that's how you can easily tell which direction you're facing when trying to find your spawn spot. So now just go ahead and place a torch on the spawn spot. That'll prevent any witches from spawning while you're building your farm and it being a hassle. And you also want to go ahead and get yourself some glass blocks. You want to place these to the north side and the east side of that spawning space, and also right above the torch as well. Basically what's going to happen is the witches are going to spawn right in between all four of those blocks, get nudged out in this direction, and then fall directly down our drop chute into our kill chamber. So now we need to dig down 28 blocks from the northwest block of our spawn spot. Again, that is going to be the spawn spot. North is that direction, west is that direction. So this is the northwest block, and just dig down by 28. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, and 28. And once you have dug down 28 blocks, you want to go ahead and mark this block as well, and then we can build up our actual kill chamber. So of course, bring a fire resistance potion with you, or just be smart when you're digging straight down. I don't want to be responsible for you guys falling into a ravine or falling into a lava pool or any number of terrible things that could happen. So be smart when you're digging straight down, of course. And once you have your actual spawn spot marked out, you want to go ahead and mine out a little bit of room just before your actual kill room is where you're going to be spending all of your time AFKing. So make sure that you got this stuff set up and secure. No monsters or creepers going to be getting in here. And once you have that done, we're just going to place in a temporary double chest for storage. You can of course expand that into whatever storage system you like. Replace your actual marked block directly below your drop chute with a hopper, and then a piston to the left side. We're going to go ahead and surround this with some solid blocks as well, just to prevent the witches from glitching out. And then the rest of this can be built up with whatever you like. I'm just going to be using glass because it is kind of nice to see. So we're also going to go ahead and throw in a couple of tridents just against the side of that block right there. We'll just leave those there for a moment. And now we're going to build up the actual circuitry for our trident killer. So all you need to do for your trident killer is place a piece of redstone dust right there, a solid block right there as well, with a redstone torch on the back side of it, 3 pieces of redstone dust, and then a repeater on 2 ticks right there. You can finish that off by placing your on and off lever, and now your trident killer is completely done. Make sure to always turn off any and all trident killers that you have before unloading the area, because redstone can frequently break on realms or solo worlds when you unload it if it is activating. And also you don't want your tridents to like fall down into the hopper or something, so just turn it off, it'll be totally fine. And also that is the entire lower part of your farm completely done. What you'll likely want to do is make a ladder going going up to the surface, but otherwise everything else is completely up to you guys. So now that we're done underground, we need to focus on the actual witch hut itself, and the final thing that we need to do for the farm is actually just encase this spawning spot, make it as dark as possible, that way everything can actually spawn in here. So don't replace any of your glass, that all needs to be glass for them to actually be able to spawn, but what you can do, because your spawn spot is likely in the middle of the hut, is just go ahead and fill in these walls again. That'll keep out all the light, and then where you can't fill in the walls or where you don't want to, just place down a bunch of slabs. That'll prevent all other spawns inside the witch hut. And then also make sure to remove that torch as well. Boop, that's gone. That will now allow spawns right there. Put the front wall in place as well, and now witches can actually spawn in your witch hut. You also want to go ahead and fill in these blocks down here surrounding your actual drop chute that goes into your kill chamber. So just go ahead and place in those two. The final job is to actually go ahead and spawn proof the porch just by using some slabs. And you also want to go ahead and spawn proof the roof as well just by using some more slabs. And after this is done, the entire witch farm itself is now completely done. The next part of the tutorial is going to be focusing on actually spawn proofing the area around your farm. So when it comes to spawn proofing for your witch farm, this is very, very important. You have to be very diligent and very thorough when you actually go about perimetering the actual area around your witch farm. You need to make a full perimeter in this area. What that means is you need to go about 70 blocks in every single direction from your witch farm to be safe, and you need to either thoroughly light that up very, very thoroughly, the surface and the caves underground as well, or instead of torching it up, you can either slab every single block, but that is, you know, quite a bit of block placing and quite the time-consuming effort. So again, you need to go 70 blocks in every single direction, one giant square. That'll be more than enough to actually prevent all the spawns. You need to do that for the surface and for the caves, and you also need to remove all the trees as well, because if you're not aware, spiders can actually spawn on leaves in this platform, and that makes it mildly annoying, so make sure you tear down all the trees. Another thing that you can do that does work very well, because there is no despawning on this platform, is once you've lit up a significant amount of the surface and the caves, you can also set your difficulty to peaceful mode. This can be done in pure vanilla survival, of course, and it doesn't do anything for achievements, and that'll get rid of all the hostile mobs in all of the loaded chunks of the world. It won't get rid of hostile mobs in unloaded areas. That'll get rid of all those guys, clear out the mob cap, and then you can switch it back to hard mode or whatever difficulty you play on, and that'll significantly help out rates for a little while, again, until the mobs build back up in the caves. So there's also one more option when it comes to spawn proofing the area around your witch hut, at least when it comes to the surface area. What you could do is simply remove all of the grass in this area and then just let the water flow back in. This is a really good option if you don't have many rivers in your area, because drowns don't actually spawn in swamp biomes or really any other biomes. They only spawn in ocean biomes and in rivers. So if you got a nice big flat area around your witch hut like how we do over here, what you could do is simply mine out all the grass and then just let the water flow in. That would be completely spawn proofed and be very low effort as well. So there you go. You have a bunch of different options before you for how you actually want to make a perimeter around your witch farm. Really, whatever you do, it'll work as long as you are thorough and you really hit up all of those caves and you light the surface up as well. As you can see with this witch farm right here, I kind of just flattened the area around it, all the nice flat lands of the swamp, just removed all the solid blocks, removed all the trees, and let the water flow back in. This is now completely spawn proof around our actual witch hut. The surface has not been lit up, but I am a lazy person with time set day, so I don't need to do that. And all of the caves going 70 blocks in every direction of this witch farm have also been lit up as well. So this is a very efficient witch farm. And there's one very important final note to put on this witch farm tutorial. If you do actually go about the process of churning all of the swampland around your witch hut into water, make sure that you have this solid block platform with slabs around your witch farm. If you just had this all be completely water around your witch hut, you would get literally no spawns at all, and I do not understand why that is. It could be a bug, could be some mechanic that I don't know about, but yeah, you need this platform here, otherwise nothing will spawn. So this platform is 9 blocks out diagonally from every single one of the pillars of your actual witch hut. It's just some dirt underneath there. Any solid block will work, and then just put some slabs above it as well. That way nothing spawns. There's literally nothing special about it, but without this platform, you get 7 drops per hour. I don't understand it. And this is what I mean by just have water around your witch hut. This does not work. You have to have that platform here. You can stand here for hours and hours and maybe only get 3 witches. That platform is the only difference in this entire world. And this one just does not spawn witches. Again, I do not understand why this one doesn't spawn witches without this actual platform here. But yeah, make sure you got some solid blocks around your witch farm and make sure they're spawn proof, and then you'll be totally fine. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this Bedrock Edition tutorial, please do let me know with a comment down below. I'm always trying to help you guys out as best as I possibly can. And also, thank you so very much for 90,000 subscribers. That is quite insane. We're getting near 100K, and it's extremely exciting. Thank you all so very much. I truly do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this tutorial though, please do leave a like on the video, as it does help out the video and the channel significantly. Maybe share it around so other people can enjoy this tutorial too. And I'll see you all down in the comment section and in the next one. Thanks again for watching. And then there was silence.